The rice you buy at the supermarket may be hiding heavy metals above legal safety limits. In 2024, the consumer watchdog Altro Consumo reported 3 Carnaroli rice brands to the Italian Ministry of Health for excessive cadmium levels, leading to 3 product recalls. In the first half of 2025 alone, the European Rapid Alert System recorded 66 warnings for contaminated rice, an average of 1 alert every 3 days. Today on Shelf Truth, you'll discover 10 rice brands you should avoid in Italian supermarkets and 2 you can actually trust. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how to recognize safe rice before you buy it. Let's start with number 1. Conad Carnaroli Rice. This is an Italian brand chosen by millions of families for their traditional Sunday risottos. The packaging looks simple and reassuring, the price is attractive, and it feels like a safe, everyday choice. But turn the package around and read the label carefully. In 2024, Altro Consumo tested batch L129D and found cadmium levels above the precautionary limit. The verdict was a clear fail. Cadmium is a confirmed carcinogenic heavy metal, classified as Group 1 by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. It accumulates in the kidneys, is not easily eliminated by the body, and long-term exposure can cause cancer, kidney failure, and bone damage. Chronic exposure harms the body silently, without immediate symptoms. That's why Altro Consumo reported this product to the Ministry of Health and requested its immediate withdrawal from the market. Conad sells this rice for around €2 per kilogram, a competitive price, but a dangerous level of quality. When you see Conad Carnaroli on the shelf, remember batch L129D that failed safety tests. And if you can't verify the batch number on the package, it's safer to avoid it altogether. Next is Pam Carnaroli Rice, and the story is almost identical. Pam is a supermarket chain present all across Italy, and many consumers assume its Carnaroli rice is a reliable guarantee of quality. But behind that familiar name lies the same problem often associated with low-cost imports. In 2024, Altro Consumo tested batch L157D and found cadmium levels exceeding the precautionary safety limit. The product was reported to the Ministry of Health and received an insufficient rating. Cadmium in rice is absorbed by the plant directly from contaminated soil and irrigation water. Rice paddies located in polluted areas accumulate heavy metals in the grains over time. When you eat rice with excessive cadmium, your body absorbs it slowly. You don't feel sick right away. The damage is progressive and silent. Cadmium can cross the placental barrier and may harm the developing brain of unborn children. For pregnant women, every microgram matters. Pam Carnaroli is sold for around €2 per kilogram, the same price range as Conad, and with the same contamination issue. For consumers who buy Pam thinking it's a smart compromise between price and quality, the reality is harsh. You're losing on both fronts. Same cost, same risk, no real advantage. Number 3 is Mondella MD Carnaroli Rice. The MD discount chain is popular because of its low prices, and Mondella Carnaroli has even received decent scores in some past tests for value and price-to-quality ratio. But there's a serious issue that changes everything. Batch L171D, tested by Altro Consumo, exceeded the precautionary limit for cadmium. The product was reported to the Ministry of Health, received an insufficient rating, and a withdrawal was requested. At this point, a disturbing pattern emerges. 3 brands out of 20 tested, all 3 Italian, all 3 failing for the exact same reason. This exposes an uncomfortable truth. The problem isn't limited to cheap Asian imports. Even rice grown in Italy, sold under Italian brands, can be contaminated with heavy metals. The difference is that in Italy, controls still exist. Altro Consumo tests products, reports violations, and requests recalls. But how many batches slip through the system before ending up in people's homes? MD sells this rice for about €1.69 per kilogram, the lowest price among the contaminated brands. When the price is unusually low, there's always a hidden reason. In this case, that reason is cadmium, above safe limits. Number 4 is Scotti Carnaroli, one of Italy's most historic rice brands, founded in 1860. With more than 150 years of experience, modern vacuum-sealed packaging, polished design, and quality promises printed right on the box, Scotti is everywhere. Supermarkets, discount stores, and specialty shops. It's one of the most recognizable rice brands in the country. In Altro Consumo tests, Scotti Carnaroli scored 68 points out of 100. That's average quality. It wasn't rejected for cadmium like the first 3 brands, but it was penalized for other quality parameters. The price, however, tells a different story. At around €3.64 per kilogram, it costs almost double compared to Conad, while delivering only barely acceptable quality. Scotti invests enormous amounts of money in marketing. The brand is familiar, advertising builds trust, and shelf presence is massive. But when you pay $3.64 per kilo for a product that scores 68 out of 100, you're mostly paying for the logo and advertising, not for superior rice. Scotti also produces parboiled rice, famous for the slogan, "It doesn't overcook." Parboiled rice undergoes a hydrothermal treatment that makes the grains more resistant to long cooking times. However, many consumers on Amazon report that the cooking times printed on the package are inaccurate. The rice still overcooks if you're not constantly paying attention. For a product whose main selling point is resistance to overcooking, that's a complete contradiction. At this price level, there are clearly better alternatives on the market. Number 5 is Curtiriso Carnaroli, another historic Italian brand with a long tradition. In the 1970s, the Curti company owned 5 rice processing plants and controlled 25% of the entire Italian rice market. It was the undisputed leader in exporting Italian rice worldwide. Today, Curtiriso is still present in supermarkets and is marketed as a symbol of tradition and quality. But the actual quality no longer reflects that glorious past. In Altro Consumo tests, Curtiriso Carnaroli scored between 64 and 66 points out of 100, placing it in the lower range of average quality and near the bottom of the top 10. The price usually ranges between €3 and €4 per kilogram. There's an important detail that most consumers don't know. Curtiriso and Conad often sell rice sourced from the exact same producer. Curtiriso costs more because it carries a recognizable historic brand. Conad costs less because it's a private label with no story to sell. But the rice inside the package is identical. When you choose between 2 identical products and pay more just for the name printed on the box, you are literally paying for air. Number 6 is Esselunga Carnaroli. Esselunga has a reputation for high quality, but its Carnaroli rice has disappointed. In consumer tests, it scored 64 points out of 100, placing it 8th overall. For a supermarket chain that markets itself around excellence, this result is unacceptable. Esselunga also withdrew rice batches in early 2023 due to excessive cadmium levels. The price is around €2.50 per kilogram. It's not cheap, but it's not premium either. This is the worst possible category. You don't save money and you don't get high quality. You're paying a mid-range price for a product that delivers mid to low performance and has a history of contamination issues.